I'm gonna turn you into Kung Fu masters. Hi! Nobody said this was gonna be easy.
Consistently filed under the category of film series that are better than they have any right to be is the Kung Fu Panda series. What could have easily have been cheap and generic cash grabs for DreamWorks Animation based around the popularity and man-child shtick of Jack Black have been met with major critical acclaim and due respect. Those behind this franchise are not interested in coloring inside the lines. They have a real reverence for the culture of ancient China, in particular the beauty, grace, and power of their martial arts. The story of a misunderstood and underestimated panda named Po, who fulfills his destiny as the long-foretold dragon warrior. The original film is understated in its emotional power and extravagant in its gorgeously brushed animation, entertaining the children in the process. The second film is even denser, fleshing out Po and company as characters, while also introducing a darker mythology that lends even more emotional gravitas. If Kung Fu Panda 2 is the Empire Strikes Back of the series, then Kung Fu Panda 3 is the Return of the Jedi. The weakest of the three films, the sensibility of it ain't broke, don't fix it sticks out here. Kung Fu Panda 3, while more of a familiar retread than the revolutionary success of the first two films, is still a very enjoyable family adventure that doesn't abandon the strengths of its two predecessors. Kung Fu Panda 3 picks up shortly after the conclusion of Kung Fu Panda 2. Po's training as a Kung Fu warrior has reached a crossroads as Master Shifu, played by Dustin Hoffman, expects him to master the art of inner self and find it within his being to become a teacher. Before this news can register, however, the Valley of Peace finds itself under attack once again, this time by the spirit warrior Kai, played by J.K. Simmons, who has harnessed the hero's chi of all of the Kung Fu warriors in the mortal and immortal world, having defeated the best of the living and the dead. Kai's power forces Po to retreat with his recently discovered and presumably dead biological father Lee, voiced by Bryan Cranston. Lee takes Po and his adopted father, Mr. Ping, played by James Hong, to a secret panda village in the mountains to help Po discover his inner panda and the power of chi needed to stop Kai once and for all.
If I live here, I wouldn't tell anyone either.
Everyone, Lee's back!
They're both back!
He found his son!
He made it!
They're back!
Lee? He found his son!
Everyone's back! Lee's back!
Everyone gather around! This is my son!
Hello, hi.
Oh, it's you!
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, hi.
I don't know who you are.
Oh, stripy baby. So beautiful.
You look just like me, but a baby. You're like me, but old. You're like me, but fatter.
Oh, yeah.
You're like me, but with a hat.
As with its two predecessors, there's plenty of surprisingly complex mythology that Kung Fu Panda 3 adds to the series and to the characters as it goes along. The introduction of the concept of chi only furthers the mysticism that surrounds the martial arts of the series, an ambition that is not glossed over slightly either. The film's animation is breathtaking. Detailed backgrounds and movements are interspliced with excellent character designs, a problem that DreamWorks has faced in the past. The 3D animation gives way to 2D traditional animation sequences that add even more flavor to this bowl of noodles. Most of all, Kung Fu Panda 3 pops with colors, in particular the unique combinations of greens and yellows that imbue each frame with a vibrancy that only certain talented animators can achieve. If there are any issues, it does come in the scripting, but this time when we've reached the third installment in a franchise that clicks when it should have clacked, fatigue starts to set in. There's only so many times that we can see Po learn to trust himself and believe in his destiny before it starts to feel like a retread. That's not to say that Kung Fu Panda 3 is wholly unoriginal, just a bit square. We've been here before, and it's a pleasant place to be, but it's not an original point of access. The humor here also doesn't quite connect as strongly as it does in the first two films. There are still strong moments of laughter to be had because of the strong work of the voice cast, in particular Black, who seems to save some of his best performances for these films. Yet the over-reliance on the fat panda jokes start to wear ironically thin here in round 3, making the whole film feel more decidedly kid-oriented.
Huh?
I am May May. Wow, she's amazing. She's so beautiful. That's sweet, Po. But please try to save all other compliments until after the performance.
Has it started yet?
Look away! Look away! No, you can't, can you?
Dad, why does she keep staring at me like
That.
Try to keep up.
I don't really know how to dance?
Of course you do.
Help me, Dad.
Yeah, no, you're on your own.
You're doing great, son.
Your turn.
He's a good dancer.
Still, the film has an irresistible energy thanks to the direction, animation, and stellar work by the voice cast. Newcomers Cranston and Simmons balance the film's compassion and menace respectively. Angelina Jolie once again brings strength to the powerful tigress, and while Seth Rogen, Lucy Liu, David Cross, and especially Jackie Chan are underutilized once again, the roles would be little without them. The film's message, while familiar, is still important and earned, preaching universal proverbs centered on self-worth and what it means to be family. Kung Fu Panda 3 may not reach the heights of the rest of the franchise, but as an entertaining roller coaster and a possible series conclusion, DreamWorks delivers another karate chop to boredom and generic storytelling.
You give some pretty good animation reviews. I think I'm with you more on the fact of like it was good. It's very family and kid oriented, but it definitely lacks a bit of the energy or whatever it was from the first two films. Yeah, they don't have as creative of the action scenes. Or like the one with Tai Lung escapes the prison. There's nothing like that in this movie. And I think J.K. Simmons is fine, but the villain is a little lesser compared to the first two films, I think.
See, I think he's a menace more by the story than he is by like the performance and the animation, this time around.
Yeah.
Because what he's actually doing is actually terrifying. He's taking the power
absolutely.
of every single kung fu master in the valley.
It is. It's absolutely. It's insane, but it's not executed in a way where like I was definitely more afraid of what's the one in Kung Fu Panda 2?
Lord Shen.
Shen was definitely more menacing. Now that's a
Great villain there.
Great villain, more menacing. I think I was touched more by the story of Tai Lung, what he has to do with Shifu. I didn't really get anything like that from Kai in this one.
Okay.
I feel like it lacks that. It's definitely more kid-oriented, but it's still fun. It's still a good, fitting conclusion. It lacks a bit of the creativity and, like you said, punch from the first two.
See, I still find him a threat, though. I don't think he's not. I don't think he's not a threat.
I think one of the
or
best
anything
things
like
about him is the like theme they give him, like the leitmotif, like, as far as music goes. It's been stuck in my head for days.
Right.
They wrote a great little music piece for him.
They did, yeah.
They really did.
The
Laugh all you
scores in
want,
these
but
movies are surprisingly
really
good.
Really good.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It is the weakest of the three, but I still think it's a couple of leaps above like standard animation.
Yes,
fare.
yeah, that definitely is. I
And
just
I
think it's
like
a weaker of the
little
three.
visual flares, like those 2D sequences that show like Poe's past, or like telling
those
the
are really
history.
nice.
Those
They
are
do those
really
really well.
welcome for me, especially in a series that does go lowbrow humor at times. Like with Poe will go like, oh, I think I just peed a little, or like they'll like, oh, he's so hungry because he's fat. They'll make jokes like that. Ha ha ha. Fine.
We get it.
Okay, we get it. But
And
like,
I'm sure if you took like a younger niece or nephew, they would eat all this up. So
but
that's
then
kinda what it's meant for.
the series does go there at points,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
They do some really dark
He
things.
takes Master Ugui's chi. Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's crazy. So
It's crazy.
But one thing I will absolutely give to the Kung Fu Panda franchise as a whole is the story arc of Poe is really great.
Yeah.
It's really great.
And it comes full
They
circle
nailed
here.
that.
I would really
Yeah.
like this to be the last one.
Yeah,
personally,
I think
'cause
that-
I
I
don't
think
see
it-
where you can take it anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it should have.
Final thoughts and ratings?
I think it's a good fitting end. It's just, for me, it's definitely not quite where the first two are.
Yeah.
Like, I think I started with a 6.5. It might be a little harsh. If I was being generous, it might be more of a 7. Where the first two are like 7.5, approaching 8.
Okay,
for
yeah.
me.
See, I'm more like 8.5 for the original two. A lot of my reviews for animation are inflated because I just really love the art craft.
does.
I love
He does. It's
animation. I
funny.
do. But this is the weakest of the three. It's still a
Yeah.
7.5 for me. It's still a very much go see it in theaters if you have kids and such
Yeah,
like
exactly. I think they definitely geared this one a little bit more towards kids. Like the second one, Shen that's a little rough.
that. Yeah,
They
and
did
just the
some-
colors in this one. It's a lot brighter film. The second one takes place a lot at night. you
Yeah,
know,
it's a
and
lot
of
it's a lot
dark.
darker.
There's a lot of dark red in it, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of fire motifs, and it's just intense, But
Yeah.
this one isn't quite as intense. But
Yeah, it's
still a
more
good-
friendly.
Still a good time.